the death toll from a gas explosion that ripped through a coal mine in northern China early yesterday has now risen to 73. More than 400 miners were at work underground at the mine, which is near the Shanxi provincial capital of Taiyuan. A total of 113 miners were actually rescued. They're under observation at the hospital. According to the Chinese news agency Xinhua, the mine has an annual capacity of 5 million tons, and it's operated by the Shanxi Jiumei Group. There's been a little bit of seismic activity over the weekend, so we figured we'd pull the whole map up. Here it is. If you look at the center there, the two orange dots, or two orange squares actually, that signifies a 5.8 magnitude earthquake. It shook an area between Indonesia and the Philippines. It hit at about 1:45 a.m. this morning. No tsunami warning was immediately issued. Further to the north of the northern tip of Hokkaido in Japan, there was a 5.0 also this morning. Again, no damages or any injuries have been reported. And then, of course, down to the little bit of the left center off the island of Sumatra was a 4.8 that occurred this morning in Indonesia. That has not signaled any sort of tsunami alert either. Off to the right, if you will, to the east, you see a significant amount of seismic activity around the California and Oregon coast. Most of those are fairly small. There was one 4.8, which has not caused any damage or injuries. And then, of course, the Aleutian chain up in the top center, that's pretty much how it looks every morning. Most of those are small quakes, a few of them over 3.5, not causing any damage. So, now to the next story where there is damage apparently. There's a severe sand and windstorm in the Arabian Peninsula. It's forced Kuwait, which currently pumps about 2.3 million barrels a day of crude oil, to suspend all oil and product exports because of the weather. According to the Kuwaiti news agency, oil exports were suspended as of this morning. Maybe later tonight or tomorrow morning we will resume exporting. Marine operations were halted due to poor visibility amidst sandstorms. Kuwait produces about 2.3 million barrels a day. Oil exports were not affected by the weather in Saudi Arabia, which ships the bulk of its crude through the Ras Tanura terminal on the Persian Gulf. All Saudi Aramco terminal operations are operating normally, said a spokesman. And believe it or not, we're going to report this again, in Australia, residents are once again fleeing their homes this morning in Australia's fire-devastated Victoria State, as authorities predicted a resurgence of the blazes that killed more than 200 people earlier this month. A deadly combination of strong winds and searing heat that fanned the worst fires the country has known are expected to return and drive flames toward towns east of Melbourne, Australia. With the change in weather forecast for later today, authorities have set up an evacuation center only 25 miles from downtown Melbourne. More than 100 residents were already in the center. Many more are believed to have left their homes and stay with relatives. This is in contrast to the last disaster, which struck last month, when people stayed at home with garden hoses to fight the fire. And what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Last week we had Toyota making a change at the top, and now we have Honda. Honda Motor Company this morning named Takanobu Ito, head of core automaking operations, as its new CEO. This is in an effort to provide fresh leadership to battle a global crisis in the auto industry. Mr. Ito is a 55-year-old research and development expert with experience in the U.S. He replaces Takeo Fukui, who will remain on board as an advisor to Japan's number 2 car maker. Both men said the change at the helm is a message of the company's determination to turn a new leaf and press ahead with technological innovations, which they view as their long-time strength, to lift its sagging business and have the momentum to be prepared to take advantage of the recovery when it comes. According to Mr. Ito, we are facing hardships that come once in 100 years. That's true. If we have any other breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.